Hello everybody, I'm Iain. In this video I want to briefly talk about whether we should hit with the front two knuckles or the back three knuckles. So this is a very common argument within martial arts circles, with some saying that contact should be made with the front two and others saying the fist should be moved very slightly so we make contact with the back three. This is one of these arguments that I find utterly pointless because it's based on the fundamental misunderstanding that people are flat. People are not flat. There's lots of curved surfaces on the human body. And also we're soft in certain places. So when you get hit, fists tend to drive into the target. So I use my own head as an example. If we say hit with the front two knuckles, without changing the fist, if the guy moves his head to here, I'm now hitting with the back three. It's the tiniest of differences. If you hit into a soft target, then what will happen is, even if you make initial contact with the front two, what will happen is as you drive in, what's going to happen is then the other ones are going to make contact as well. So assuming you're hitting a human being and not a flat surface, and assuming you're driving into that target, there's a very good chance you're going to hit with whatever knuckles you hit with. You might hit with all four, you might hit with the front two first, you might hit with the back three first. It depends entirely on these slight little movements that the human being can make and which part of the body that you're actually hitting. I think what we're really talking about is, what is our preferred alignment of the wrist, right? So do you prefer to have the front two in line or do you prefer to have the back three in line? I can see a good case being made for either one of those, The argument for the front two would be that, the bones are bigger and stronger generally there. The argument for the back three is, well, you're putting the force over a larger surface area and maybe you're less likely to break knuckles, and on and on. I can follow the logic of both of those. My preference is to have the intention of aligning the front two. I personally find that gives me the best possible shot for me. But if someone was to say, I prefer to hit with the back three, I'm not going to tell them they're wrong. It's entirely legit, because ultimately, beyond the academia of arguing about it, it's going to make no difference when contact is made with an actual human being. Because again, people are soft and things drive into targets in certain places. We're curved, and so even when you hit a hard surface, it's only the slightest of differences which will change the target. So the key thing is, make sure you line your wrist up correctly and hit. And you'll hit with whatever your knuckles you want to hit with. As a brief aside, there's sometimes a debate about, well, should you even hit with a closed hand or an open hand? Again, you can make a good case either way for that. There's the argument that, well, an open hand is better because it has lower third-party perceptions, you're less likely to break knuckles, and on and on. The argument for the closed fist would be, yeah, but it's more natural, you can chain the strikes together better, and even if you do break a knuckle, if it's a self-defense scenario, you'll be pumped full of adrenaline, you won't feel it anyway, and if you leave a self-defense situation with cracked knuckles and that's it, it's been a good day, right? You wouldn't be punching people in the skull with a bare hand unless it was a serious scenario. And if all you leave with is a couple of cracked knuckles, you've done all right. I think where that comes from is people mistake the issue that could be for a boxer. So a boxer breaks his knuckles, he has problems training. If it's a 12-round fight, it starts to hurt when he hits. So he starts to subconsciously pull back a little bit. That's an issue for them. In a self-defense scenario, which is explosive, it lasts seconds, it's not that big an issue. So again, my solution to that one is we train both. Every combination we do with closed fists, we also do with open hands. Students will learn both and then they can decide which ones they feel most appropriate. So yeah, back to the main point, front two or back three, take your pick. Practically, doesn't matter. Academically, it can be an interesting discussion. From my perspective, I can see how both opinions have validity.